Good day, everyone. This is another video lesson discussion in reading and writing skills. And for this video, I will discuss the lesson 3. And the topic that I'm going to present is selecting and organizing information. And before that, I will present to you the lesson objectives first. Okay, so at the end of the lesson, you will be able to differentiate the techniques in selecting and organizing information, practice brainstorming techniques, and prepare a graphic organizer, topic outline, and sentence outline. Nowadays, we are bombarded with different kinds of information from books, newspapers, magazines, and of course, the internet. Going through this amount of information is not the only challenge. We also have to come up with effective ways of processing them. So in the age of technology, we are experiencing information explosion. This means that we are bombarded with a lot of information since sources of information are very accessible with today's technology. Though it is a good indicator that we are advancing, but the consequence is that we have to be more critical than ever since the information we are getting from various sources are not all credible and authentic. In fact, most information in the internet are not factual. Hence, we have to scrutinize what are we consuming in the internet. Hence, one important ingredient to successful reading and writing is our ability to generate, select, and organize ideas. This can be done through brainstorming, making a graphic organizer, and outlining. So, therefore, there are various strategies to filter information and are vital to be selective to the information we are receiving from various resources. And this is what we're going to discuss in this video. First is brainstorming. Brainstorming is a group activity by which efforts are made to find a conclusion for a specific problem by gathering a list of ideas spontaneously contributed by its members. So, brainstorming is a collaborative effort from the members in a group by giving ideas about the topic that they are dealing with. This means that brainstorming can be done by more than one person. And in brainstorming, you can also use different techniques to effectively select and gather information. So first, we have idealist and idea map. So you can brainstorm effectively either by creating an idea list or by making an idea map. Idea list simply involves listing ideas about a particular topic. It also helps you find the main idea and supporting details from the numerous ideas listed. So in Idealist, you can just list down any ideas that you think related to the main topic. For example, the topic is unemployment, and you can provide concepts that are connected to it, such as jobs, poverty, salary, lack of education, lack of jobs, low salary, lack of money, fresh graduates. So these things are the subtopics that can be listed down to the related to employment. And we also have idea map. It is a visual representation of ideas and their connections with one another. So idea map is like an infographic about the connections of various subtopics under a major topic. It's like gathering of related ideas about a topic written through a visual representation. And we also have graphic organizers. A graphic organizer, also known as a knowledge map, concept map, story map, cognitive organizer, advanced organizer, or concept diagram is a pedagogical tool that uses visual symbols to express knowledge and concepts through relationships between them. The main purpose of a graphic organizer is to provide a visual aid to facilitate learning and instruction. So basically, graphic organizers are visual representations of the structures and organizations of a text that show relationships and connections between the ideas presented in the text. So first, we have Venn diagram. A Venn diagram is an illustration that uses circles to show the relationships among things or things. Circles that overlap have a commonality, while circles that do not overlap do not share those traits. Venn diagrams help to visually represent the similarities and differences between two concepts. And they have long been recognized for their usefulness as educational tools. So, Venn diagrams simply shows the similarities and differences of the concepts presented in a text. And this is useful when you compare and contrast those concepts. So, this is an example of a simple Venn diagram wherein two concepts are being compared. So in this one, it shows the comparison and contrast of three concepts. The most outer layer parts are the unique characteristics or traits about each concept. The second inner parts are the similarities between the overlapped concepts. And the most inner part or the center contains the similarities of the three concepts. So using a Venn diagram, you can categorize the information according to its group or where they belong to. So next we have network tree. Network tree is used to represent hierarchy, classification, and branching. It is useful in showing relationships or scientific categories, family trees, and even lineages. So if you need to classify information and show its hierarchy, then you can use network tree. This is good when the text provides information that implies connections among them. So this is diagram that can be used as a basis for making a network tree. Next, we have spider map. Spider map, sometimes called as semantic map, is a type of graphic organizer that is used to investigate and enumerate various aspects of a single theme or topic, helping the student to organize their thoughts. It looks like a bit spider's web, hence its name. So a spider map is useful if the topic has a lot of information about it and you need to thoroughly classify them. It is called spider map since it looks like a web of a spider. So this is an example of a spider map graphic organizer. So it talks about the main topic, which is website, and has major subtopics, which are header, sidebar, subpages, and footer. And each of these major subtopic has their own subtopics under them. And next, we have problem solution map. A solution map displays a logical analysis of the way one might arrive from the given data to the solution of the problem. The solution map includes a statement of all laws and principles used at every stage so that students' knowledge base is reinforced. So a problem solution map is a visual representation of explaining a problem, the background information about it, the reasons for its existence, and the possible solutions to address the problems. So here's an example of a problem map solution or problem solution map. It shows the issue about bullying, and in example, it presents first the definition, followed by the causes. Next is the effects, and lastly, the solution. So in making this kind of graphic organizer, make sure that you explore the relevant and necessary information about the topic. And we also have timeline. A timeline is a type of graphic organizer that shows specific events in sequence, usually with dates, in a linear fashion. Timelines are particularly useful for studying or reviewing history because a timeline will visually display major events over a period of time. So, timeline basically shows a chain of events, a historical review of events that lead to a recent or current event, and it shows the specific years or dates when the events happened. And these events are all connected that shape the events in recent years. So this is functional in historical analysis and investigation. So this is an example of the diagram. And another one. So another example of a timeline. This diagram shows the history of the conception of Dell Technologies company. And we also have plot diagram. The plot diagram is an organizational tool focusing on a pyramid or triangular shape, which is used to map the events in a story. This mapping of plot structure allows readers and writers to visualize the key features of stories. So basically, the plot diagram shows the elements of the story, and the visual representation or visual graphics is presented in a pyramid. So these are the elements of a story. We have exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution or denouement. For the exposition, it refers to at the beginning of the story, the characters, setting, and the main conflict are typically introduced. So it refers to the information that you can get at the beginning of the story. That's exposition. And we have rising action. The main character is in crisis, and events leading up to facing the conflict begin to unfold. The story becomes complicated. So this part of the story presents the complications that resulted to the main problem or the conflict of the story. And the climax, at the peak of the story, a major event occurs in which the main character faces a major enemy, fear, challenge, or other source of conflict. And the most action, drama, change, and excitement occur here. The climax is the most exciting part of the story. The height of the emotions are highlighted in this part. The character is facing the conflict of the story, meaning the tension of the story is in its peak in this part. And the falling action, the story begins to slow down and work towards its end, tying up to loose ends. So the falling action refers to the start of slowing down the tension of the story. And this is the start wherein the conflict is starting to be resolved. And the last element is the resolution or denouement, also known as denouement. The resolution is like a concluding paragraph that revolves any remaining issues and ends the story. So this part presents the ultimate solution of the story. It's the ending of the story. The story basically concludes in this part. So this is the diagram that shows the plot of the story. So it's a pyramid that denotes the flow of the story. So as you can see here, the peak of this diagram shows the climax since that is the part wherein the emotions are being highlighted. It is the most exciting part of the story because that's where you can see the conflict. And we also have series of events chain. So chain diagrams, also called sequence of events diagrams, are a type of graphic organizer that describe the stages or steps in a process. So this type of graphic organizer shows a visual representation of a procedure or a process, how things are being done. For example, in manuals that you can see in appliances, it includes or it shows how to start, how to use that specific appliances. Or just like this one, this example shows how the Congress process a bill, how they pass it and deliberate it, and they decide if that bill is feasible to become a law. And then how they do it is that they're going to decide to pass it and they wait for the president's approval. They wait for the signature of the president in order for that bill to become a law. And we also have Fishbone Map. Fishbone Map is a type of graphic organizer that is used to explore the many aspects or effects of a complex topic, helping the student to organize their thoughts in a simple, visual way. The use of color helps make a fishbone map clearer and easier to interpret. So Fishbone map can be used for various purposes, especially when dealing with complex information. So you can classify information and show their connections through connecting lines like bones of a fish. In this example, it shows cause and effect relationship. So due to problems in people, method, measurement, machine, environment, and materials, it resulted to miss the deadline in productions. Thus, through Fishbone Map, you can present various factors with specific information under them that resulted to an event. And we also have cycle. Cycle diagrams are a type of graphic organizer that shows how items are related to one another in a repeating cycle. Use a cycle diagram when there is no beginning and no end to a repeating process. So a cycle diagram shows a process that is repetitively happening. It's an ending process since when you start doing it, you will end up doing it again after you finish the last step. So the cycle goes on and on and on. So in this type of graphic organizer, as you can see here, this is an example of a cycle. It shows the research cycle or the process of producing and disseminating research-based information. When you conduct, when you investigate, then you disseminate that information, and then you have to conduct a study again. That's the cycle of research in order to find out new things about the topic that you are dealing with on that research. And next, we have Persuasion Map. The Persuasion Map is an interactive graphic organizer that enables students to map out their arguments for a persuasive essay or debate. Students begin by determining their goal or thesis. So they then identify three reasons to support their argument and three facts or examples to validate each reason. So, Persuasion Map is a visual representation of an argumentative essay. So, it contains the position or thesis of the author, its arguments, supporting evidence, the reasoning and logic, and conclusion about the issue. So, the goal here is to persuade or convince the audience to be on a side and consider his opinion. So this is an example of a persuasion map. It shows the position of the author that people should recycle their mobile phones. So it contains its introduction, followed by the main reasons. Then after that, the facts that are used as supporting evidence. And then the last part, it's the conclusion. And we also have outlining. So it is another way of determining text structure. It shows the framework of a text through division and subdivision of ideas. So there are two types of making an outline, the sentence outline and the topic outline. So this is a method to show the structure or framework of a text that shows major topics and the subtopics under each of the major topic. So this means that there are principles that we need to follow in writing this one. So there are two types of making an outline, sentence outline and the topic outline. So first, let's discuss the sentence outline. So the heading of each level is one sentence, which means that when you write this kind of outline, all the topics that you're going to include in this type of outline should be expressed in a sentence form, just like this example. And for the topic outline, the heading of each level is a phrase. So you need to make sure that when you write this kind of outline, they should be expressed or structured in a phrase so that there's consistency in the presentation of details or information, just like what you can see in the example. So in writing an outline, there are principles that we need to follow, such as providing the major topics presented in a text. There should be coordination of ideas in each level, and the subtopics under them should imply the similarities that they can be labeled in the same major topic. So for the format, So first, main ideas are labeled with Roman numerals. Supporting ideas developing the main ideas are labeled with capital letters, and it should be indented. And details developing the supporting ideas are labeled with Arabic numbers and should be indented. And minor details developing the details with small letters and should be indented. So there's a level in terms of writing the ideas. Okay, just like this one and this one. All right. So that's the end of the discussion, and I hope that you have learned something in this video, and see you on the next video presentation in reading and writing skills.